Hi and welcome. Welcome back if you've been here before. This is going to be a sacral chakra reading, which is the second chakra, and its color is orange. This is the I feel energy center, and the purpose of these readings for the chakra systems is to sort of find scenarios and situations where our chakras are either blocked or overly active, because these chakras, which are energy centers, affects our emotions, our mental well-being, our physical and energetic well-being, and everything affects everything else. And it's not always obvious what the sacral chakra or the heart chakra blockage might be and what to do about it, right? So having a blockage in any one of these energy centers can cause physical symptoms. Excuse me, and that's my throat chakra acting up. And yeah, so you can have physical symptoms from having a blockage in one of your chakras. For instance, I have a head cold at the moment, and I feel like it's a result of some energetic stuff clearing around my third eye. And I do feel like a lot of what is happening with the sun and the solar flares, and even astrologically, it can be that those cosmic transitions and effects affect us physically and emotionally and mentally and energetically. But it can also be that if you are in an environment or exposed to, say, a lot of negative energy, say a lot of gossip or negative talk, even your own negative self-talk, that energetically can affect your third eye, which is connected to your ears and your throat. It can be emotional things like you've always had issues with your tonsils, and subconsciously or beyond your awareness, you've always had a difficulty with speaking up for yourself because as a child you didn't feel safe to speak to the people around you about how you were feeling or what you were thinking, or it can go in many different ways. Our relationships with the people around us as we grow up and even in adulthood, and the roles we play in the dynamics of our lives all affect how we feel about ourselves, what we think about ourselves, which affects how we feel and think about the world, which affects how we show up in the world, which affects everything. Right, so the sacral chakra is the I feel chakra. And I'm using the archetype cards here. And the first card we got is the Father archetype. And I feel like the Father archetype has to do with what the masculine energy should provide, whether that's your biological father or just masculine energies around you. And masculine, we all have both. But it's about protection and support. The people, the systems, the institutions in your world, currently or previously, how much support and protection did you receive? Did you feel safe to speak up? And this is specifically related to the sacral chakra. So, did you feel safe with your father, for instance? The light attribute is talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. Many people in the world grow up without having their father with them for various reasons. And even when we do have our fathers with us, what is our relationship like? Is it disconnected? Are they emotionally safe to be around, even if physically they provide a home and everything we need financially? But Did you feel emotionally safe being around your father? Did you feel like you could express difficult emotions and have a safe space to do so? Or did you have a dictatorial household where there was excessive control and abuse of authority, where what the parent says goes and your emotions is disregarded because they know best, and parents do most often. But it's about awareness and empathy and connection with your children and even with anyone else in your world, the relationships you've had. So there might be something around the father wound, or just some subconscious aspects of our psyche relating to our father, which can affect how how defensive you are or guarded you are in relationships, because you don't feel safe to open up. How safe you feel in the world to explore and take chances and do things that you would like to do but you are afraid of because you don't feel like life supports you, like the world supports you, because you didn't have that in your life earlier on. Like applying for the job that you actually want instead of staying in the job that you are because it feels safer, and you're worried that if you make a change or take a leap of faith, a calculated risk, that you wouldn't be supported. So you stay in situations where you're not the happiest because you don't feel safe enough to be able to do more. Maybe even manage with change and transition. And there's a lot of change and transition in our world right now. You could, like, for instance, in a work environment, you could have really amazing ideas that you do not share because you have a negative relationship with authority, because the masculine energies around you showed up either aggressively or were not understanding and compassionate. Maybe it's not something as deep as that, and it's just that you were always taught to be practical and logical and not allowed to dream or just be present in the moment, feel safe enough to just relax and be playful or messy or make mistakes for that matter. And funny enough, after shuffling this deck, these two cards are very similar even in the color. So we might end up feeling like a victim. Whoops. And then child wounded wants to be shown as well. Now, the cards in this deck have many different archetypes. Like this is the engineer. Here we have the lover. Here we have the visionary, the advocate, the prince. There's so many different types of archetypes in this deck, and it's no coincidence that these three come out together. And this is like the Sacral Chakra energy. When we speak about childhood trauma and inner child wounds and inner child healing, yes, there are some that have really traumatic, difficult experiences, but it can be something as simple as having had people around you that spoke in a certain tone, that was not really calm. And as a child, that being spoken to in that way can seem like the most scary thing that you could possibly imagine, because you are a child. As an adult, you probably feel safe enough and empowered enough to not be afraid of that. But if you are an adult that experienced that as a child, you might feel triggered when in a situation where somebody takes a certain tone with you. So our relationship to our father, whether it's a really traumatic experience like an abusive parent, or just something as that seems as small as having a parent that doesn't play with you, but takes care of you really well in every other aspect. These things are in our subconscious and affects how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about the world. And in some instances, we might feel like we are a victim of something. And until you become aware of these subconscious things in your psyche, it'll affect how you show up in the world and other relationships as well. The light attribute for this card is prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others, and that's a positive aspect. So some people will experience certain things in their childhood, and it will teach them empathy so that they don't do the same to others, but also protect themselves from that being done to them. But in other instances, a shadow attribute is developed, and then we play victim for positive feedback in the form of pity or the inability to maintain personal boundaries. So you don't feel safe enough to say, no, I don't want to do that today, or I am willing to do this, but I'm not willing to do that, or I feel comfortable with this and I don't feel comfortable with that. Sometimes as adults, we don't even know that certain things make us feel uncomfortable, and we have the right to say no. And that, seems very far-fetched, but it's true. And this is about not just letting these things that are in our subconscious just rule our lives and just not take responsibility and accountability for getting past them, and just being like, well, this is what happened in my life, so this is the way my life is going and there's nothing I can do about it. But taking that accountability to show yourself compassion, but also support yourself, and now reparent yourself and give yourself the safe, supportive environment that you would need to grow past whatever things are in your subconscious or blockages in your energy field. I was going to pull tarot, but now this has gone on way longer than I anticipated. But let's see. So what do we do about having a father wound? This can come in so many different ways, and obviously this is a general reading. I just mentioned the things that come to mind. Sometimes it's a good idea to just think about what your relationship with your father is and how you feel about them, and how that makes you feel about masculine energy or men in general, whether you are a male or a female. And in instances, for instance, if you made a mistake, how do you speak to yourself? Like, that was so stupid, I shouldn't have done that, or what's wrong with you, you should know better. And then think about how the people around you spoke to you when you made mistakes, and then try to reparent yourself in that way. So it's okay that we made that mistake. We see what the lesson is there. What can we do to make it better? Showing yourself compassion and support through difficult scenarios and situations. Because when you feel safe and understood and supported, you then feel empowered. And when you feel safe and empowered, you can make choices and then take positive action, which is the next energy center, which is the solar plexus. Okay, what else for the sacral chakra? Okay, so how do you feel in your body? Let's pull some cards, some tarot, and this is the Neo Tarot, which has nice self-care, self-love messages in here. Do you feel safe within your body? Do you feel comfortable in your body? Do you feel healthy? The sacral chakra also has to do with your lower energy centers like sexual energy. There can be certain symptoms physically if you're a woman and if you're a man. If you have a blockage in your sacral chakra, 5 of Swords. Do you feel safe to rest? Do you feel safe to rest? Like so many of us will work ourselves to the point of exhaustion because we feel like that's something we have to do. And yes, there are real life circumstances that make us have to work really hard in some instances. But when do you give yourself permission to carve out time to rest? And when you do have time to rest, can you actually rest? Is it difficult to fall asleep? If you're just relaxing, are you thinking about all the things you didn't do, should do, the things you did wrong? And even when you're sleeping, do you feel like you're having restful sleep? What is happening in your mind that is affecting how you feel physically? What else? Related to the sacral chakra. The Wheel of Fortune. I feel like this is about if you have many negative experiences in your life or grow up in an environment where there's lots of conflict, lots of drama, a lot of stress, you can feel that you are at the mercy of all the things that are on the outside of you. And it's a difficult thing to get past in your mind, that mind block. But once you get past it in your mind, it can make you feel differently. Or if you work on feeling better, it might be easier to get past the mind block. Like if everything around you is going wrong, can you still feel a sense of peace and stability or security within yourself, which is also root chakra, so that the external things don't throw you around, the external things of life, to the point where it is highly detrimental and harmful to your well-being and you can't find a way out. It's being at the center of the wheel instead of on the periphery. Let's get one more. For the sacral chakra, the I feel energy center. The 6 of Cups, being emotionally balanced. If your sacral chakra is underactive or overactive, you might have very little creative energy if it's underactive or blocked. And creative energy can feel the same as sexual energy. If it's overactive, you might be overreactive emotionally. You might have a difficulty connecting emotionally when it comes to intimacy, when your sacral chakra is blocked. So yeah, this is about how balanced is you. How balanced do you feel emotionally? If you have a lot of tumultuous emotions within you that are suppressed, it's going to expose itself or come to the surface either physically, how you interact in the world, or mentally, how you feel. And then your mind is trying to bring it to your awareness, so now you have self-deprecating thoughts or negative self-talk, or just feel stressed. Let's see, what can you do to balance your sacral chakra out more? Acknowledging your inner child is what I'm getting from this card here. Checking in with your body, how you feel in spaces, environments, situations, and relationships. Sometimes we don't know that we are actually not okay with the space that we are in, the people we are around, the interaction that we are having, unless we tap in and we are aware of how we feel. The Wheel of Fortune, let's see. Working with the color orange, whether that is wearing orange clothing or coloring in or orange or red crystals, working with the color orange can help to activate your sacral chakra if it's underactive or blocked. Even eating orange foods. Listening to sound frequencies while you're sleeping, binaural beats, there are specific ones for each chakra that can be helpful. Sometimes one of our chakras will need the support of our other chakras. So, right, if you're having a sacral chakra issue, tapping into your solar plexus energy, like doing things that make you feel more empowered. The solar plexus is the I do chakra. Doing things that make you feel more empowered, like doing a small task. Like if you feel like everything's just going wrong and so it makes you feel bad, doing something simple and completing that task, like baking some muffins, completing that task and then enjoying the muffins when you're done, can support your solar plexus energy because you did something, and which is supporting your sacral chakra energy, which is I feel, by doing something, even if it's something simple, and completing it, and getting that sense of fulfillment and accomplishment, can support the sacral chakra. Or vice versa, or you can do root chakra activities, which is grounding, walking barefoot outside, or doing something very physical like exercise to support your sacral chakra. Getting enough rest. That seems obvious, but how often do we not do that? And often it's difficult. Certain periods in our lives, certain things in our lives can make it difficult to get adequate rest. And to be able to pay enough attention to our bodies, our minds, our emotions, like this, life can be challenging in that way, that it doesn't always give us, but we need to find the time, carve out the space to be able to tap into who we are and what we need and what we want, how we feel, what we think, so that what we do can be better. And I think that is my cue to end the reading there. If you've made it this far, please like, share, comment, let me know if you found this helpful, or even if you have any more insights or better insights on what was discussed in this reading. Subscribe and join me again in another video.